episode, our heroes managed a gritty victory over Brock and his rock-solid squad. Now, Handsome Cat continues his adventure across Mount Moon to challenge Misty, the furious water-type gym leader. Will our heroes be able to continue their wipeless streak? Find out now on Pokémon Radical Red!
After handily defeating both gym leaders Faulkner and Brock with 0 wipes, I'll admit, I was feeling a wee bit confident after having no issues at this point of the game, but at the same time, I was also a bit worried about the second gym leader, Misty, who poses a huge threat, especially that powerful Starmie of hers. With that worry at the back of my mind, I plan to recruit some new team members along the way, to perhaps increase our chances of keeping the run wipeless, maybe. After being scammed by this merchant 500-buck Magikarp named Giddy, it was time to traverse Mount Moon, collect the Helix fossil, and dispel some Team Rocket shenanigans along the way. After a couple of battles and wild Pokemon encounters along the way, we have finally made it to Cerulean City. After a brief break, it was time to strategize. I took a look at the box and see what could possibly be the best way to defeat Misty. After spending not too much time reviewing the recruits, taking a peek at the enemy team, considering type matchups, and assigning team roles, I was ready to take on Misty and lay claim to the Cascade badge. Leading off with Skiddy the Skiddo, I wanted to handle Misty's Frogadier with grass moves. After leech seeding them, the Frogadier reveals his Protean, which I kinda overlooked, and hit Skiddy with a stat boosted Ice Punch. Somehow, Skiddy manages to survive despite massive damage, but the next play should definitely be a swap-in. In comes really the Azumarill, considering its natural bulk and huge power. After swapping in and tanking an Ice Punch, I decide to start setting up with defense curls despite knowing an incoming grass move, keeping a mental note that all these gym leaders have coverage moves. Frogadier decides to flip turn, a water type U-turn, and in comes Floatzel. A super effective hidden power gets unleashed by him, and really manages to hold on. Really responds with Play Rough, shaving off a huge chunk of Floatzel's health. I wanted to swap in again, so I decided to swap out to Skiddy, expecting an Aqua Jet. Turns out Floatzel went for Icy Wind, which totally wipes out Skiddy. I now realize that Skiddy would not be able to do anything even if he tanked the Aqua Jet, because of the speed difference. It's a lesson to learn about how the AI behaves. It will always go for the kill if they are faster, and I should respond in return. Moving on from that mistake, I sent Sparky the Pikachu to revenge kill Floatzel. After a fake out later, for some reason I decided to go for Baby Doll Eyes in an attempt to cripple the Pokemon for some reason. Another mistake from Tendency, I guess. Floatzel manages to escape death with a flip turn, and in comes Clodsire. After looking up this Pokemon again on the Radical Red docs, I figured out that this was the coverage mon on Misty's Water-type team. Misty most likely sees a kill with a Ground-type move now, but with no safe swap-ins, Sparky Thunder Waves Clodsire and gets sacrificed. Things were really starting to look grim, and the wave of my first wipe started to loom. With no clear strategy set to handle this Clodsire, it was Litty's time to be sent out. With Scorching Sands, I wanted to chip away at Clodsire as much as possible and also hope for a burn prop, and both Pokemon started to rally each other with their own ground moves. Alas, Litty's power falls short and she gets promptly KO'd. I sent out really in hopes of revenge killing Clodsire, but Clodsire managed to tank his huge power boosted Play Rough thanks to his equipped Eviolite, a poison jab later, and really joins the Shadow Realm. I was losing hope. Meowie, the Galarian Meowth, manages to revenge kill Clodsire with a bunch of bullet punches, but gets his health to red in return. Frogadier returns to the field, outspeeds Meowie and swaps back to Floatzel. With Meepy being the last Pokemon standing, I already lost hope. Floatzel flip turns to Starmie, the ace of the team. A water pulse later, Meepy gets knocked out. Wow, my first wipe ever of this run. I never thought that I'd lose this early considering the game's difficulty, but losing in such fashion for the first time, I had to think really hard about my next approach. The next time I challenge Misty, I should change around my Pokemon, right? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe my team was the right team, but I was not approaching things the right way. Attempt number 2. I decide to bench Meepy and brought in Shinny the Luxio in hopes of winning some of the speed ties. No, I get wiped again. Attempt number 3. Realizing I was constantly being outsped, I brought in Broly the car call to try and take advantage of his ability, Steam Engine. No, that did not really work as well. 3 wipes already? Am I that bad at Pokemon to lose that much this early? No, I just need to step back and regroup. Right? Kinda. Attempt number 4 now. I bring in both Pachi the Pachirisu because of the type advantage. Liddy also gets temporarily benched, and I bring in Giddy, the already Gyarados, to spread out Intimidates for Misty's 3 physical attackers. So bringing in these Pokemon should be able to defeat Misty, right? No, I get wiped again. To be honest, I was getting pretty tilted at this point. It's been 4 attempts, and I kept getting handily defeated every single time. I definitely had to re-strategize and plan the battle based on the team's strengths and Misty's tendencies. Will I be able to defeat Misty ever? After sorting the team around and properly equipping the team with appropriate items and berries, it was time to take on Misty again. Attempt number 5. Let's get Attempt number 5. Let's get this. I decided to lead with Giddy the Gyarados. The intent here was to not only spread Intimidates, but also dent a hole in Misty's team with Thrash. Giddy had the Person Berry equipped, so that he can prevent confusion and maybe opt for a different move, or even resume thrashing. I call this the Dent a Hole strat. Giddy, due to being slower than Frogadier, gets outsped with a crit Grass Knot. A crit! It is now Giddy's turn, and he starts to run amok with Thrash, bringing Frogadier to yellow. Frogadier flip turns, and Floatzel comes into play. The AI loves to swap when low, yeah? Another Thrash by Giddy later, and Floatzel is brought down to yellow as well. The strategy is working as intended so far. After catching on to the Op's tendency to swap out when their health is yellow, I immediately swap in Roly to tank the flip turn with Pasho Berry and activate Steam Engine to basically become the fastest mon on the field. Is it sweeping time? Misty immediately swaps to Clotsire, sensing that they would be able to handle Roly with their Earth-type move Bulldoze, I guess. Roly dishes out a Scorched Sand, and Clotsire is such a tank it does not do that much to him. But Roly manages to get a clutch burn prop, which is huge in crippling Clotsire. Roly then gets quickly KO'd after, but with that burn prop, I'm able to see the light to victory now. Knowing that Clotsire is burned and rendered useless, it was time to send out Riley and set up on Misty with defense curls. Misty immediately swaps out to her ace, Starmie. It was a vicious back and forth between both Pokemon, with Riley dishing out massive damage with Play Rough, and Starmie recovering after every turn. After bringing Starmie down to red, I kinda expected Misty to swap out, considering how they've been abusing switching so far. So I defense curled again. As expected, Misty swaps out to Clotsire again, and I was thinking, sure, why not, it's burned, so I can probably dish out some Play Roughs. Misty swaps out again to Floatzel, in which really gets rid of with Play Rough. Frogadier gets sent out but another Play Rough later. Frogadier also gets KO'd. Sweep incoming! Clotsire gets sent out once again, but after a couple of Play Roughs, Clotsire was finally managed to get taken down. With Starmie as the last mon standing and already in red range, we quickly dispose of the Starfish with an Aqua Jet. After only 5 attempts, the Cascade Badge is finally ours. Looking back at this, the burn prop by Roly really turned the tides of the battle. But I needed to reconsider my brute force approach in future battles and not depend on procs to turn battles in our favor. Since the level cap has been increased to 34, we leveled up some of our Pokemon and some of them even evolved. Roly, who evolved into Colossal at level 34, and Skiddy into Go-Goat at level 28. Soon after, we sort of breezed through Nugget Bridge with no problem, and got our ticket to the SSN from Bill. We also paid a visit to Bugsy, the bug-type expert, which was not too much of an issue thanks to Patchy's support moveset. and our partially rock and fire type heavy approach, which worked despite the permanent rain. Losing 4 times has not deterred my confidence. Next stop, Vermilion City, and challenge the next gym leader, Lieutenant Surge.
With the Cascade Badge finally in hand, our hero stands taller, wiser, and just a little more cautious. But in Vermilion City, Lieutenant Surge, the lightning American himself, awaits. Can Handsome Cat stand against the storm? Find out next time on Pokémon Radical Red!
If you reached this point of the video, I would like to just say thank you for watching until the end. At this point of the video, I've already made it quite far in Radical Red, but I've learned so much throughout the journey, and I would like to tell you the story of how I made it in a way that is exciting to you all. So if you like to stick around and see what happens, do consider liking and subscribe to not miss the action. So see you in the next one. Take care.